Well, here we are on YouTube, and I'm in rehab. I have an IV line coming from me. This would probably be day five. Um, Bear with me, guys. This is an interesting story. Obviously, go back to Willie OM, the other stuff. It all kind of add up. So I'm in rehab for clonazepam and benzodiazepam class narcotic addiction, which is on par in terms of lethality with alcohol. So if you want to talk about lethality of addictions, like if you cold turkey it and you're physically addicted, number one would be benzos and alcohol. And then after that, won't kill you, but it will make you feel like you're gonna die, would be heroin, opiate withdrawals. And then everything else after that is kind of a sliding scale down in terms of rehabilitation. So it's a 45-day medically supervised um, taper. There are all sorts of addiction treatment programs out there. I'm not here to preach. We'll see the results after. And then also, this is going to follow up with months of comprehensive PTSD treatment. Obviously, we'll talk more about where I am later. It doesn't matter if you guys followed my story. I'm not really interested right now in doing TikToks because the audience I'm getting here is more a little bit more niche. So we'll talk here. Yeah, so I'm safe, surrounded by cameras, armed guards, and in a massive facility uh, somewhere in Poland. So things are pretty safe for me. How do I feel now? Day five. It's 4 or 5. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I was during that Willie OEM interview, I was so incredibly cooked and so off my mind that it's crazy. But that's how I still managed to pull off something. Um, and talk. And I still want to keep this format where it's not scripted so long as I can, so long as it makes sense. But yeah, nobody should be ashamed about talking about PTSD or their mental health. Like these things need to be destigmatized. Everybody ends up with a disability at some point for the most part, some with mental, some with physical. Usually, physical is a guarantee if you live long enough, especially if you're a male too, prostate cancer, inevitable if you live to 150. But that's aside the point. So people need to destigmatize. One of my favorite things that people would like say, "Oh, you got PTSD," blah 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 blah. Like, doesn't make me any less of a man. I've proved myself on the mats, and I've proved myself more so on the mats that I care about anything. I started off wrestling, as you can see. I won 0 and 14, 0 and 14 when I started wrestling. And then later on, I was doing submission grappling and jiu-jitsu in Brazil at a purple belt level, and I was standing on a podium with a gold medal. So I went from losing a lot to winning. That's what life is, kind of ups and downs. In regards to military stuff, I'm very proud of my service in the U.S. Army. It's given me a lot of benefits. And obviously, you know, things happened in the military during my deployment and after that resulted in PTSD and a litany of other physical ailments. People are like, "Oh, you look fine and perfectly able." It's because I'm good at hiding pain, both mental and physical, to an extent with mental. Obviously, I've lashed out at people before. I think that was sort of a great example of the mental pain being projected on people. And for that, I'm sorry. I especially, the first battalion commander, I lashed out at him once pretty hard. No names needed. First Battalion of Legion. No names to be made. Names to be made. So yeah, let's talk about dosage of what I'm taking. I'm taking a pretty heavy dosage of antipsychotics, basically to make sure my mood is stabilized during what is a dangerous, you know, withdrawal. and they do have non-permanent side effects from what I imagine and have read and I've been informed about. However, mental clarity, it messes with it. So this will be a good and a very exposing, as what we naked. I'm in rehab talking about my experiences with people. And yeah, I want to see how I think about things that happened, especially given the amount of press and shit that's involved with Ukraine. Definitely tried to do the right thing um, throughout my course, but then as people decided to gang up on me for really childish reasons, and I lashed out pretty hard for sure. Was that a result of my addiction? No, that's the result of me projecting PTSD. Looking at this IV, it's dripping a little bit. Let's see, I got my IV right there. So the medical detox, I said 45 days. And I want to encourage like any veteran, like if you ever need to reach out and you can find me on this, leave a comment. I'll try to respond. I also have a lot of things going on. Uh, there are also lots of resources up there that at some point in time I'm going to put out for people that want to get help. If you're a veteran overseas and you're service connected, you do have VA for medical program. It's a very meticulous step by step process that you have to take to deal with it. But we can talk about stuff like that. We can talk about crisis intervention. But more importantly, what I hope out of this is that if I find one more person like me who couldn't find a way to reach for help, because I had to ask my friends for help. Like, hey, look, I'm burning out abroad. I'm not coming back to the States. You know, what do I do? And my friends who love me interjected and pointed me in the right direction. It's crazy. I ended up here like just decided, all right, I didn't have any credit cards, just had cash on me. Got on a train to Warsaw. Sorry, Warsaw to, and yeah, train to Warsaw, and then obviously to a facility for detox and rehabilitation. Some point, maybe I'll incorporate some fancy videography, but I'm doing this for myself and other veterans who want to listen and see you know, where the process goes. So 5 days into 45-day medical detox and withdrawals. Shit, how are they? Not too bad, but still something unpleasant. It's still hard. If you're addicted to benzos or alcohol, I can probably relate to how hard the withdrawals are. Other drugs like opiates never was my cup of tea, not my thing to do. So, um, another category, drugs, sure I've used them, but never really was a problem. I didn't really start using clonazepam or benzos really until, I mean, I'd used them like kind of on and off before. It was fine, but it wasn't really until I just wanted to sleep in the heat and during the shelling. Um, when it was like May, that's when like probably the addiction started full on. And May 2022, and it was managed. Like you have managed addictions, then you have unmanaged addictions. Like there are plenty of people out there with managed addictions. I go to work every day and they're high functioning and they get their shit done. And I would say I had a managed addiction up until probably 3 months ago. Then it became an unmanaged addiction. Unmanaged addiction is like either your life starts spiraling and or other people have to interject to help you. I mean, these are my own definitions. I'm not feel free to interject on what you think is a managed addiction or unmanaged. But so right now, yeah, I'm feeling better. I feel safe, feel secure, especially given the amount of security I got detail on this place, which we'll talk about later. And if anybody is like watching this from the facility, obviously I have a huge amount of gratitude for what has been done. Let's, put this on record so other people reach out and try to do something. This is me, day 5 into a withdrawal, and I'm still alive, still beating. And if you're out there and you're looking for resources, let start to plan. If you're a veteran, obviously, in the States, the VA, give them top recommendations. Overseas, it's a bit more tricky, especially with private healthcare and such. You know, private healthcare won't, well, most of it won't cover addiction therapy, won't cover any type of, um, their mental health is, coverage is marginal. And, you got to look for that type of stuff in your insurance. If you're without insurance, you're traveling, well, you're dancing with the devil. Anyways, so this is just an update for the guys who've commented on my massive 45 person following. Um, People from TikTok, if they want to follow me, the content I want to create for TikTok is just completely different. This is more a bit raw and exposed because at some point I'm going to start working with this platform on a heavier level, and that time will come when it needs to come. But yeah, so like, follow, subscribe. Let's see. Does the addict reform to a better man, or does he become a degenerate again? See how I change after 4.5 months of medically supervised um, detox and a um, comprehensive cognitive behavioral therapy and PTSD rehabilitation, which yeah, it's a long time in one place, but I'm committed to fixing myself so I can be mission ready for the next thing in life, whatever that may be. So yeah, if I sound rambling, it's obvious. Medication. But yeah, all right. If you guys follow me, like I said, thank you. If you don't, if you're my haters just watching, great. I don't really can't really fuck with me in this state. I'm medicated. All right. See you guys later.